Hey everyone, welcome in.
We are diving into some really heady stuff today.
Accusations against Sean Puff Daddy Combs.
Okay.
And look, we all know Puff Daddy, right?
Right.
This isn't just some random celebrity scandal.
This is a guy who's been a titan in hip-hop for decades.
Rapper, producer, the founder of Bad Boy Records, his influence is everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But, these aren't just recent headlines we're talking about.
His accusations go back years.
With whispers and rumors always swirling around.
Great.
But a recent arrest, followed by a bombshell lawsuit.
Well, that's throwing gasoline on the fire.
Yeah.
And we're going deep on all of it, guided by this in-depth article from Europa FM.
It's okay.
So if you're feeling a little lost in the sea of headlines,
You're in the right place.
let's break down what we actually know.
Yeah, you're right. The sheer volume of information can be overwhelming.
What we initially saw as a serious arrest has ballooned into something far larger.
This lawsuit, with over 100 individuals involved.
Suggests we might be dealing with a criminal enterprise, not just isolated incidents.
Okay, that sends chills down my spine.
Enterprise makes this sound almost like organized crime.
The article mentions some really heavy accusations. Sexual abuse, exploitation.
Can you unpack that a bit?
What are we really talking about here?
Yeah, you've hit on a crucial point.
The gravity of these accusations can't be overstated.
And when we talk about enterprise,
The lawsuit alleges things like conspiracy, human trafficking, even racketeering in some reports.
these terms get thrown around. But in this context, racketeering implies Puff Daddy was heading an organized operation that profited from illegal activities. Wow, so not just individual acts.
But a whole system designed to exploit people.
That's incredibly disturbing.
And if he's convicted on even a fraction of these charges,
We're talking about the very real possibility of Puff Daddy spending the rest of his life behind bars.
the potential penalties are that severe.
Okay, so let's dig into the specifics here.
The Europa FM article mentions these freak-off parties.
And honestly, the name alone is attention-grabbing.
Right.
But what were they actually about?
And how do they tie into these horrifying allegations?
Yeah, it's crucial to look beyond the provocative name.
While it might suggest just wild gatherings,
The accusations paint a very different picture.
these parties were allegedly controlled environments.
Structured in a way that could enable coercion and abuse.
And the power dynamics at play here, with Puff Daddy's status and influence, are impossible to ignore.
So you're saying these weren't just open social gatherings?
The allegations suggest these parties were structured in a way that might have enabled coercion and limited victims' options for escape or help.
Precisely.
And adding another layer to all of this, the article mentions alleged recordings of these parties.
If these recordings exist and are what they're claimed to be,
It moves beyond he said, she said.
this could potentially become very compelling evidence.
Wow, that's huge.
This is turning from accusations against a person,
Into allegations of a much larger organized system.
and the potential impact on Puff Daddy's legacy, regardless of the outcome, is just massive.
You're absolutely right.
This case raises essential questions about power, consent.
And how even the most successful individuals can be held accountable for their actions.
It forces us to confront some uncomfortable truths about the potential abuse of power.
And it feels like, whenever these kinds of accusations surface,
The rumor mill goes into overdrive.
yeah,
Suddenly everyone's an expert, speculating about who else might be involved.
it's inescapable, especially online.
You're hitting on a crucial point,
This Europa FM article even addresses it directly,
mentioning the rumors about Taylor Swift and Justin Bieber,
both of whom have connections to Puff Daddy.
photos of them at parties, that kind of thing.
Right, but photos don't equal guilt by association.
I mean, what are we supposed to glean from that?
Exactly.
And it's critical to remember.
There's currently zero evidence linking Taylor Swift to any wrongdoing in this case.
We have to be incredibly careful about separating speculation from facts.
Especially in such a sensitive situation.
Absolutely.
And as for Justin Bieber distancing himself from Puff Daddy,
That's not an admission of guilt either.
Right,
People react to situations like this in different ways.
and it's not our place to speculate about his motives.
This case really underscores the danger of online echo chambers.
It's easy to get swept up in sensationalism and jump to conclusions.
But we need to remember that this is about justice.
About ensuring a fair legal process for everyone involved.
The accused and the accusers.
Speaking of the accusations themselves.
Europa FM does something interesting in the article.
Okay.
They contrast these current allegations with those infamous white parties Puff Daddy used to throw.
Remember those?
Yeah.
Huge A-list affairs.
But the article doesn't suggest anything illegal was happening there.
It's a striking comparison, isn't it?
And it raises the question of how much weight we should give to past behavior.
Are those white parties, even though they're not directly related to the current accusations?
Being used to further paint Puff Daddy in a negative light?
It feels almost like they're saying,
Well, look how wild his parties used to be.
so these new accusations are totally believable.
It's a subtle but potent rhetorical technique.
And it speaks to a larger issue.
Are we quicker to believe accusations against someone if they fit a certain pre-existing narrative?
Even if that narrative isn't directly related to the allegations at hand?
It's a lot to unpack.
On one hand, past behavior isn't proof of present wrongdoing.
But on the other hand, patterns of behavior can be relevant in these types of cases. It demands nuance.
And it's a reminder that our desire for a sensational story can sometimes overshadow the very real human impact of these accusations.
And, we can't forget,
There were real people at the heart of this,
with real lives being impacted by these accusations.
both the accusers and the accused.
Absolutely. This isn't just a celebrity scandal.
It's a stark reminder that these issues,
Power, consent, abuse,
they can impact anyone, anywhere.
and acknowledging that is often the first step towards creating a safer and more just world.
You mentioned earlier this case raises questions about how we view accusations.
Especially against public figures.
So where do we even go from here?
How much weight should we as individuals give to accusations before there's a verdict?
Especially when the court of public opinion moves so fast.
It's a question we all have to grapple with.
And there are no easy answers.
But it starts with being more critical consumers of information,
Questioning what we hear.
seeking out diverse perspective.
And engaging in respectful dialogue, even when the issues are challenging.
It's about not letting our desire for a juicy story overshadow the very real human cost of these situations.
Exactly.
And regardless of the outcome of this case, the conversations it has sparked will undoubtedly continue.
This deep dive has been heavy for sure.
But incredibly important.
We'll continue to follow the story as it unfolds.
But for now, stay informed, keep asking the tough questions.
And remember, this case, it's far from over.
Thanks for joining us.